I was having a conversation with my wife the other day about whether I'm introverted or extroverted. And it seems to her that I am very introverted. And we were talking about how I love to be on flights. And I love being on airplanes because I am not accessible to anybody. And so she said that probably it's because I'm introverted that I enjoy that. And I do enjoy being on a flight and not being accessible. I actually even enjoy being at the airport, and it's almost like it's already the first step towards not being accessible. And if anybody reaches out, I have permission to not answer because I am at the airport and I am not going to help you if you need help. And I know that sounds rude or mean or selfish, but as we went into this conversation, I got the feeling that there's more to it than just me being introverted. And I choose to believe that most of my decisions are not self-centered, even or especially the ones that seem self-centered. And so we got into this conversation about introvert and extrovert. And I was telling her how I was at a coffee with a friend of mine, and when I walked into the coffee place, it was so loud in there. And it happened to be a really nice day out. So I went to the outdoor sitting. And when we were at the outdoor sitting, I was telling my friend how, yo, it's just so loud in there, and how can people listen to each other, or how can you focus in a conversation? And my friend was telling me how there's actually some restaurants that have these roofs that are almost, I don't know if it's soundproof or sound protection. And these soundproof ceilings allow the conversations to be better so that you can hear me and I can talk to you and not be distracted by all of the noise. And when we were talking about this, the first thing that came to mind was, yo, I wish I have some of these wall or roof or ceiling sound protection elements that would allow me to hear God better. And in the midst of the chaos and the noise and all the things that are going on outside of me, I need this soundproof or sound protection that allows me to just be able to hear the voice of God. And that led me to actually wonder if my desire to be on an airplane is my way of having this soundproof boundary or wall or mechanism that just shuts down the noise and allows me to hear God. My conversation with my wife went on into how much I love journaling, and it's not that I want to be separated from people. It's just that when I journal, I always start with hi God or good morning God or hi creator God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, whatever it is. And so in fact, it's not even that I like to be alone. I have created a system in which I am sensitive and create an opportunity to interact with God. And so that takes us back to this idea of introverted or extroverted, and the idea that I don't know that we should long to be either one, or that we should even consider that we are only one of them. I think that the only way to be sensitive to the voice of God is being able to spend time with yourself. And for me, it's journaling. But why is it so important to spend time with yourself? I get the feeling that this is where the highest level of relational intelligence starts. And we are designed to be relational beings. And if we don't have a mechanism to activate or to improve our relational intelligence, we're going to live a reality in which we don't know how to deal with our emotions and we don't know how to deal with others. But the reason this is so important to relational intelligence is because the first relationship that we must attend to is the relationship with ourselves. And in the process of journaling, you shut down all the voices that are not just outside of you, but the voices that are inside of you, and you pick one voice to start journaling from. And when you understand the beauty of spending time with yourself, it's almost like your soul feels seen again. And although you could have all of the validation and all of the approval outwardly, your soul is longing for you to spend time with yourself. And that's why perhaps I may seem like I am more introverted, because I long for the moment in which I can look at my soul and spend time with my soul and remind my soul, hey, I am here with you and I am here willing to listen to you. And if I want to experience the maximum version of myself, I need to spend time with my soul. And the interesting part is that I feel that when I am journaling, in that process, I run into God. And I choose to believe that God is not living somewhere externally, but he is so deep inside of us that in the moment that we dig deep, we actually run into him. And the beauty of that, and in fact also the paradox of that, is that when you fully run into this God that lives so interconnected or so deep inside of you, you realize that if this is true to you, it's true to the people outside of you. And so the paradox is that in your most introverted alone moments, you are activating the opportunity for the most extroverted version of you, which is when you go and walk outside into the world, you get to hear that God is also speaking through others. And the shift that that does is you begin to believe that if God is inside of me, God is also inside of this person that's in front of me. Why is this so important? Because I choose to believe that everybody has so much goodness inside of them, but not everybody is always displaying the good and beauty that's inside of them. But if you think about a moment in your childhood in which you were perhaps lost in the supermarket or in a mall, and you hear the voice of your parents or the voice of your sibling, there's something about being sensitive to this voice that has taken care of you. And I'm convinced that when you spend time, at least for me, in journaling, I become more sensitive to the voice of God. And therefore, I know what the voice of God sounds like. And not just for me to hear God, but for me to sit in front of somebody who may be expressing the ugliest version of them, and me still find a way to hear that there is some godliness and goodness and beauty inside of them. And so when we talk about relational intelligence, I don't just mean that you have to pick outward relationship or inward relationship. It's an interconnected practice. And for me, journaling is what does it for me. But the actual practice is to take time out of your day to spend time with yourself and your voices, and find a way to shut down the distractions and shut down all the things that maybe are outside of you, and even the universe is inside of you, and at least pick one and focus on that one. And I promise that somewhere in there, you're going to run into a voice of hope and love and beauty and validation. And then you will activate your sensitivity to not just hear God inside of you, but hear that God is inside of everybody around you. Are you introverted or are you extroverted? The reality is that you are both, because God has designed us and we have the ability and the texture inside of us to be introverted when needed and extroverted when needed, and both be used for the best expression of our humanity for us and for others. When you think of Infinite Ballers and all of the things that we do, it is grounded on the ability to optimize our relational intelligence, our emotional intelligence, and our character development. These are also interconnected, but today I just wanted to dive into the relational part. And when you have another conversation about whether you're introverted or extroverted, just remember that whichever one you land on, it's an opportunity to hear God in you or hear God in others. I'm actually convinced that if you identify as extroverted, is because you are more sensitive to hearing God outside. And by outside is you're more sensitive to hearing God in others. And you love hearing others because you hear God in them. But I would just ask, maybe balance it with a little bit of hearing him inside of you. And that when you hear them in others, it actually gives you hope that if it's in them, it's also in you. I hope this conversation created a little bit of an internal dialogue within you in which it helps you love yourself more, love others more, and know that God is madly in love with you.